is the main event.
Hello and welcome everyone to the main event, Mark's podcast. This is the Thanksgiving edition. I'm your first co-host, a lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and the guy that makes the turkey sounds. I am Troy. And with me, as always, he is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Jeff to my Matt Hardy. He is Greg. What's up, Greg?
What's up? Look, I want to talk about what you just said. You make turkey sounds. I mean, that can be taken in a few ways, so that's something you want to tell us?
If anybody's been listening the last couple weeks, like every show here in November, I have had...
Yeah, totally, yes. That's not how I heard it, though.
I know how you heard it, because you're a sick freak. But the rest of everybody, they know what I'm talking about, if you've been listening long enough. And by the way, to the new listeners, thank you. I appreciate it. If I hit you up on Twitter and you are a listener from there, thanks for giving us a chance, and I hope you stick around going into the month of December. Because, Greg, this is our final show for the month of November. No more turkey noises after today.
Oh, man.
Put away the turkey.
That was accidental.
Oh, man. Put away the turkey and bring out the ho-ho-hos next week.
Wow, man. Just with so many innuendos to start the show this week. Man.
Hey, I'm hitting them all right away, man.
Another one.
Good Lord. Today, this is the day before Thanksgiving, obviously. The next 3 days are going to be crazy for all of y'all. 4 out of the next 5 days are going to be nuts. Because tomorrow you
Another one.
Tomorrow you got Thanksgiving. Friday you've got Black Friday. Saturday you got Small Business Saturday. And please, if any of you out there, if your state is not on like total lockdown and businesses are actually open, this may be the most important holiday for the rest of the year, Small Business Saturday. Please go out. Me and my wife have been patronizing multiple small businesses lately. So I know it's tempting. I just went and bought a bunch of stuff from Walmart. But at the same time, I feel like I've earned that because I do my part with the small businesses. You, unfortunately, are in California, that small businesses are becoming more of an extinction kind of thing.
They're definitely going the way of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Starting, let's see, what time is it? About 9.5 hours ago, all the small ones had to lock up again.
Mother of God.
Restaurants, I should clarify. Sorry, restaurant ones anyways. They can still be open for contactless and delivery and stuff like that, but nobody can come inside again. So
good grief. Yep. Well, there's that. But like I said, if any of you live in a place with small businesses, please hit them up on Saturday. Here's my PSA of the podcast. And
I will definitely be going to my local figure one.
Awesome. Yeah, and Sunday is nothing, but Monday is Cyber Monday. So get them deals. Anyway, enough of that. Getting into the news and notes of the time. You want to dive into all that goodness?
Head first. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. Wait for it.
Good Lord. All right. Well, we're gonna hit you with a. Wow. Oh, okay. You got your little coffee drink. All right. Well, I finished my coffee for the morning, so I should be raring and ready to go. But
full disclosure, it is past noon over there. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9:30 here. So yeah.
Yep. So we'll get into all the stuffing before we cut into the bird here right after this. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @mainevent_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/maineventmarkspod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, news and notes of the time. We don't have a whole lot, but there is some stuff from Impact to dive into. We'll get into here in a sec. The first one...
It was still TNA, right?
Or, excuse me, yeah, TNA.
I forget when they switched over to just Impact. I think it was, 10, maybe?
No, I think they officially did the switch over, around 2011.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if that was... They were transitioning in 2011.
I know it was Mick Foley was there because he's the one who flat out said it. We are now Impact Wrestling, so...
Okay, well, I mean... Yeah, they were transitioning the thing, but they still called them TNA. And like they didn't officially just drop the name completely until I think 2012, 2013. Because by then they were like, yeah, we're no more TNA whatsoever. And now the only time it gets mentioned is, when they have the, Moose carrying around that TNA title.
Yeah, because that makes all the sense in the world.
Well, and other people were saying, they were like, he's carrying around the TNA title, which isn't a real title anymore, and he's more of a world champion than anybody they've had hold that world title in a while.
Are you telling me he's more important than Rich Swann?
Yes.
Okay, just asking. Go ahead.
He's more important than Rich Swann, Eric Young, maybe Sami Callihan, and definitely Tessa Blanchard. So,
but not Brian Cage.
Eddie Edwards and Brian Cage, I mean, they were fine. Sami Callihan was all right. I don't know. But all right, anyway, I forgot about the timeline here with this, but Claudio Castagnoli signed a developmental deal with the WWE, having impressed them with an appearance on Raw as a police officer in a backstage segment. I like how that's how it. They're like, God dang it, you wear that uniform really well. But
yeah.
But get this. At first, I was like,
I'm sorry, it's just weird.
I know
because he stands there in a suit.
Yeah, they're like, my God, you look good in that badge. Come back for a tryout match. But he, I was sitting there, I'm like, he hasn't been there since 06. Like, what? But here's why that hit me. He had a successful tryout for Deep South Wrestling, their former, like, if anybody remembers, that was like, I don't know,
back in the day.
Well, no, you know baseball better than I do. The minor league teams. What's the one right before the major leagues? The AAA.
AAA, yep.
Okay, so this was so think of OVW as AAA, and Deep South was AA or single A. So that's where they sent him. That's where Kenny Omega was. I think Dan O'Brien was there at one point. So, but he went to Deep South Wrestling shortly thereafter. Castagnoli was released from his WWE contract. He returned to the Indies in February of 07. So I was right. He was not there since 2006.
He was there in 2006, though.
Yeah. He was there for literally a cup of coffee, and Deep South Wrestling apparently decided, look, I don't want to be this far south to get into WWE. And then they sent him home.
The Deep South. I'm going to leave that obvious joke alone.
Good grief. Also here, switching to TNA. TNA. On the November 2nd edition of Impact, Kip and BG James, who you guys may know as Billy Gunn and Road Dogg,
Rubicon Mafia.
Don't get ahead of me. They cut a work shoot promo announcing that they were quitting the company out of frustration. And that's the promo. If anybody remembers, they cut their mics and then they get on commentary and start cutting a promo on commentary. And yeah, so all that good stuff.
Is this the one where they challenged Triple H and HBK to a legit fight?
Well, yeah. Coming up to that. After a house show in Connecticut...
I don't mean to keep getting ahead. Sorry, I thought this was all the same one.
No, yeah. Well, after a house show in Connecticut was canceled, TNA filmed a vignette at WWE headquarters featuring the James Gang discussing the show cancellation, like you do. This vignette was followed with a promo on the November 16th Impact, during which they announced that they had been given creative control and were changing their names to the Voodoo Kin Mafia, VKM for short, and declaring war on the WWE.
I'm not going to lie, it took me a couple of weeks to get the whole VKM thing.
I thought they were smacking us in the face with it as soon as they debuted. They're like, Voodoo Kin Mafia, VKM, somebody else, and they kept going on about the initials. For those of you that don't get the joke, it's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So,
yeah. Those are great initials.
Because I was like, okay, I get the joke, but what does it mean? Voodoo Kin Mafia?
Looking back at it, I'm like, was this just a way to introduce Roxy?
Yeah, they brought for those of you that don't remember, they had a manager for a little while. She was the Voodoo Queen or whatever the hell, near Roxy Laveau, and then she lost hair versus hair match and kind of Molly Hollied herself. But yeah, she.
That was the only voodoo thing about the whole thing. So that tells me that it was specifically for that.
Even their theme song like the beginning of it was like a phone rings, and then they're
Some
like
girls
911.
like, help me, they're in my house or something like that.
Yeah, because you hear the 911, what's your emergency? And it's some woman yelling, help me, they're in my house. And then like the line cuts and you hear a dial tone. And then
So what the hell does any of that have to do with voodoo?
Yeah, I'm
Sounds
like
thieves or something. Or
it's like, so are they breaking into, like, that might work with the mafia part. But again, it's like a 2-person mafia.
dude, the mafia, if they existed, would not give people time to call. So
Yeah, well,
I still disagree.
Whoa. Yeah, well, there's no such thing as mafia, okay? You know, if you saw something, you didn't see nothing, okay?
What? See what?
You didn't. Yeah, exactly. You saw nothing. But yeah, no, this didn't, like, the kin. I get it because they're Southern and whatever. But the voodoo and the mafia, all of it was stupid. It was just a weird way,
Who
taking
came
a
up with
dig
that
into
crap,
the
bro? Who came up with that?
Was he writing at the time?
I'm almost certain he was. Yes.
Oh yeah, 06. Yeah, probably. I was wondering because you listen to everybody who ever worked with him, like after WWE, because I don't think Vince McMahon allowed him to. For those that don't, we're talking about Vince Russo. I don't think Vince McMahon allowed him to take cry breaks in WWF, but from WCW on through TNA, from everything I heard, every couple of months he had to take a couple months to go home and cry. Like, bro, I got to go home and cry, bro.
Dude, he is like the polar opposite of a hardcore New Yorker. I don't believe he's a New Yorker.
Yeah, it's a
true New Yorker would look in the mirror and tell him, go F yourself, and then, whatever. Not go cry.
Yeah, right.
Did you ever see Bully Ray needing time off to go cry? I pick him because I don't think there's anybody more in New York than him. But could you see him do that?
No. Yeah, I know. He's got it. He's gonna have.
I want to make it clear. I'm not making fun of mental illness at all.
Yeah,
I'm not. That's not funny. It's just like he's just coming up with excuses.
Yeah, I don't think he legitimately has any mental illnesses for real. I could be wrong, but I don't.
Well,
think he does.
you're seeing what he's written, so there's definitely something wrong with his head, but not like that.
Yeah. But the last story I got here is something also from TNA. I figure we talk about the build-up and whatnot. So, because it's the last thing we have to talk about. So, just weeks before Survivor Series, the recently signed Kurt Angle defeated Samoa Joe in the main event of TNA Genesis. This was kind of a weird time in wrestling because, like, I don't know,
Kurt Angle and TNA still just sounds weird to me.
Yeah, when I heard TNA, like, WWE released him, I was like, whoa, what? Like, I just, never in a million years. And then I saw he was going to TNA, and I was like, what? And you and I were big TNA fans at the time, for those that haven't been keeping up with the podcast. I marked out for that. I'm like, damn.
I remember hearing someone was going to TNA and thinking it was Chris Benoit.
No.
Because he had just returned at No Mercy the month before.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm talking about, like, before all this. Like, there was a big signing coming in. I thought it was Benoit for sure. And then I think there was even a talk it was Regal.
Well, I mean, I love William Regal, but he would not have been as good, obviously. This was huge. And the thing was, like, anybody who did it was a big thing back in the day. It's like, if you could pit anybody from WWE against anybody from TNA, who would it be? And everybody's first thing, they were like, oh, Kurt Angle. So,
see, not me. I said Kurt Angle and Styles, but...
No, well, yeah. I mean, people said him and Joe because of their styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm thinking any great versus a TNA great, AJ Styles is the one for me.
I can't remember. I think people were saying Styles and Michaels, I think, was the main one. But I can't remember off the top of my head now. But either way, or it might have been Styles and Cena, which we got that one too, but under the WWE banner. So, but this one, I mean, it was the first. I mean, they moved right into it with as soon as Kurt Angle popped up in TNA, bam, Samoa Joe. And
well, he debuts and takes the title from Joe, right? The one that Joe had stole.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they had a great feud, lasted a long time. So that was all really cool. I was into all of that. Kurt Angle had a really good career in TNA, I thought. but he lost a wife. So there's that. But on the flip side, I think he gained he was able to kick his pill addiction, I think, while he was in TNA. So that was good.
I don't know, man. There's a couple times you go back and look at him. He is just sickly.
Yeah. He beat the crap out of himself in TNA, though. I mean, he did not slow down. Like, I think he was in a full, like, I can still do this mode. And he pushed the crap out of himself. So, I mean, he had great matches against a lot of different people. Sting, Jarrett, Styles, Joe, list goes on and on. Now, Christian, even. And I'd forgotten about this. Christian debuted at Genesis the year before. So within 2 years, we get Christian Cage and Kurt Angle both popping up at TNA Genesis.
It became a running thing because Booker T would debut at Genesis the next year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Huh. And King Booker is a big deal on this show that we're about to talk about as well. So Booker definitely comes into play. But yeah, anything else you have to add for that before we move on to the event at hand?
Yes, I miss the good TNA.
I do too. TNA, like we were talking about, Impact Wrestling has a weird cult following on Twitter now. If you say anything negative about it, they're like, well, it's the best wrestling out there right now. How can you not like it? It's like, do you actually watch this show and get enjoyment out of it? Along with the other 10 people that watch it? I'm sorry, if you're an actual Impact fan, I mean, cool, good for you, like what you want to like. I tried getting back into it with Slammiversary, so I was like, well, this is a pretty good show. I might get, into this here. And then they reminded me within a month why I stopped watching in the first place.
Yeah, I haven't followed it. I mean, I'll skim through it and see what's going on. That's about it.
Hey, the Good Brothers are tag champs, so there's that.
Yeah, that's enough to make me tune in.
Well, hell yeah. I mean,
who's the world champion? The world champion to me is the draw. Like, I go off of, will I watch this guy? The world champion at the time of this recording is
Rich Swann. Well, you're wrong, Greg, because if you look, I mean, Sami Callihan's nickname is The Draw, so he,
yeah,
you're wrong.
I don't think I've ever watched a Sami Callihan match.
Really? I used to be
Never
super into his stuff back in the indies, but throughout the years I've kind of chilled out on him. I don't know.
He's back to doing the hacker thing, which I find funny because apparently he hated that crap in WWE, and now he's embracing the crap out of it.
Yeah, it's like, why are you just doing this now because they're like, crap, WWE's doing a hacker thing. We got to do a hacker thing. Sammy, you know how to hold a tablet and act like you're pressing buttons, right? Stupid. But all right, that about wraps it up. We're going to dive into all things Survivor Series 2006 right after the other side of this break.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @MainEvent_Marks and Facebook at Facebook.com/MainEventMarksPod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, we are here, Survivor Series 2006 for the WWE. The date is November 26, 2006. The venue is the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think it's changed names since then. I don't know what the hell it is now.
Like 7 times.
Yeah. The theme song is Are You Ready by Hazen Street. I've never heard the band. I didn't hate the song, but I've never heard of that band.
It was brutal. Piece of crap. Why did you use that? Ugh.
The attendance was 15,400, and the pay-per-view buys were 383,000. So all in all, not bad. This was 20 years of Survivor Series, by the way. Last week we covered, 2 weeks ago, we covered Survivor Series 1996. That was 10 years of Survivor Series, so 2 decades of teams fighting against each other in elimination style matches. So there you go. I said it was a co-branded Raw, SmackDown, and ECW show. I said I forgot how awesome the Ruthless Aggression build-up packages were. I thought the way they did the opening package was
oh
exciting.
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. When we finally get into the arena, the pyro blows like the guy is Danny McBride's character from Tropic Thunder.
Don't get that reference, sorry.
You never watched Tropic Thunder? God
No,
dang.
it looks stupid.
It was stupid. That's
Thank you for specifying why I should never watch it.
oh, man. Danny McBride's character was he was the pyro guy. If anybody gets the reference, his character was the one that blew a ton of pyro like too early in the movie, and like everything exploded. But anyway, the first match is the Legends versus the Spirit Squad. Ugh. This one,
The Spirit Squad was the Legends.
I'm going to smack the hell out of you. I'm going to assume they couldn't dig up a fifth legend.
No, there was a good reason there. Roddy Piper was hurt.
Yeah,
Went to the hospital, I believe, and had like a hernia or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, but they said that Ron Simmons was his replacement. So if they're replacing him, that means that they were originally scheduled to only have 4, and then they're sticking with 4. So I was just like, wow, there's 5 members of the Spirit Squad. You couldn't get a 5th old man on the other side? I don't know. Anyway, it wouldn't have made the match any better, I'll say that.
Could have got Jerry Lawler. I mean,
Yeah. It was Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, Dusty Rhodes, and Ron Simmons with Arn Anderson in their corner. They're taking on the Spirit Squad. Kenny, Mikey, Nikki, and Johnny with Mitch in their corner.
Mitchie.
Yeah. This was something. I forgot about some of these guys.
Fun fact, by the way, The Miz or Elijah Burke were supposed to be part of the Spirit Squad.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. I was like, wow, what?
It would have been good for diversity.
Yeah. Somebody who didn't suck on the team. I take that back. I mean, most of these guys were actually pretty good. I forgot about Johnny, but I try to forget about this group as a whole.
Didn't Kenny, they try to do something with him and it failed miserably?
Yeah, because his name was Ken Doane, and they changed his name to Kenny Dykstra, which I didn't get the reference at first.
Well, there's a baseball player named Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, they were like, oh, like Lenny Dykstra. Like,
because when I think of Lenny Dykstra, I think of a male cheerleader.
Right. But anyway, this match went for 10.5 minutes.
Way too long.
Yeah, you don't say. Flair is wearing his bronze-colored robe that was apparently his favorite in this era because he wore it quite a bit. There's a bunch of like promotional photos of him wearing that.
Well, his Horseman days were gone, so he probably wasn't making enough to buy new robes all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess there was one woman he had make his robes throughout his entire career, and towards the end, she made a robe or two that he got him, and he was like really upset with him. He was like, quality really went downhill, and he was like really upset with her. And then he found out she was like terminally ill, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He was like, "I mean, this is pretty good for dying while you're making my robes." So, but yeah, not to bring the mood down, but yeah, Ron Simmons, like I said, is replacing the injured Roddy Piper. They said he had to go to the hospital and get surgery. Mitch and Arn Anderson get involved, and the referee boots Mitch, who Ron Simmons beats a tar out of and then just drags him to the back, getting himself counted out because sure.
I like looking at the whole thing. Like, wow, they're just trying anything and everything to get the hell around this match.
Well, don't you remember, like, all of them except Mitch could wrestle? I don't know where they got. I think Mitch was on Tough Enough, and they threw him in that group.
They were all on Tough Enough.
Well, Mitch's claim to fame, and I'm using that term loosely, Mitch's claim to fame was, I can sit on the floor and scoot on my butt.
That's right.
I'm like, what the hell?
I think, now that you mention it, I think he was on Tough Enough, because I remember him doing that in the ring on SmackDown.
Yeah, he did it all the frickin' time. And I'm like, does that just tickle Vince McMahon? He's like, scooting on his ass.
To quote Jim Ross, I don't know if that's going to buy you at the grocery store, but okay.
Yeah, it was...
That's one of my favorite Jim Ross lines. He said that about draws. He was like, oh, you can puke on cue. I don't know if that's going to buy him at the grocery store, but, whatever.
Yeah. I always like Taz. He was like, that $5 will get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So New York of him.
Right.
Like he's like Joe Pesci, but more round and tan. Anyway, Arn gets
Same height though.
yeah, Arn gets the boot as well, and to of course a bull excrement from the crowd. They were very vocal about this. They did not like the enforcer getting kicked. You know, you could kind of see even back then, like, I didn't know to look for it back then, but it's like his left hand, when he put up the Four Horsemen sign, like his hand looked normal on the right side, and his hand was just kind of like there on the left. I was like, oh. But
Yeah, it's hard to look at still.
yeah, and that the way he claps, you can tell. But anyway, while Sergeant Slaughter has a Cobra Clutch on Nikki, Johnny hits a Johnny Go Round, which was a Trouble in Paradise, to the back of Slaughter's head, and Nikki pins him for the elimination. Nikki's still out of it, and Dusty Rhodes drops an elbow on him for the pinfall elimination. Dusty's whipping up on Kenny until a distraction allows Kenny to roll him up with a schoolboy pin for the elimination. It's now 3-on-1 for Ric Flair. Flair uses the ropes to assist his jackknife cover on Mikey Mikey for the elimination. He then cradles Kenny for a flash pinfall. Comes down to Flair and Johnny, and Flair picks him apart. Johnny quickly taps out of the figure 4 and gives the Legends the win. Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4 stars.
Holy crap.
I gave it 2.5 because I said for the people that were in it, it was average. What say you?
I hated it. I gave it 1.
Wow, 1? Dang.
Yeah, it sucked.
Keep in mind, by the way, this is the only 4-on-4 of the night. The other 2 Survivor Series matches are all 5-on-5. So,
also, keep in mind, I'm just going to say this now, this is the worst match of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This,
so that, not to give it away, but everything else would be higher than 1. So.
Well, this was, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like Flair, or I feel like Flair being in the match was why Flair and Dusty both, is why Uncle Dave gave this such a high rating.
Yeah, I mean, nostalgic reasons. I had fun watching the entrances, and
well, if Ric Flair's in it, Uncle Dave will rate it super high. No, that's the rule. He's good buddies with Ric Flair. He lets his bias show. Not that Flair doesn't deserve high ratings, but for God's sake, this was.
He's got himself a new Flair now, a Canadian. You might know him.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
He just got in the Hall of Fame, the PW Pro Wrestling POWO, right?
No, it's he got into the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling, whatever. So that's a huge thing, man.
He's not even close to retirement. That's just stupid.
I feel like he hasn't even peaked yet.
No.
So,
what has he done to be "quote unquote" Hall of Fame worthy at this effing age?
You haven't been watching AEW, have you, man? Oh my God, he's been Dave Meltzer's Wrestler of the Year twice or whatever. He's had the most 7-star matches, and he once competed in North Carolina. I don't know what the hell any of that means. That's Kenny Omega's entrance, though.
Yeah, that's just flipping ridiculous. But I said after the match, a different Kenny flips the figure 4 so that the pressure is reversed for Johnny onto Flair because Kenny comes in and flips a pile. The Spirit Squad holds Flair down so that Kenny can do his top rope leg drop onto the back of Flair's head. And that's the end of that. Because I don't understand why they pushed the Spirit Squad.
Because they were young guys.
Yeah, they were young, super talented.
I can't fault them for it. Just like, oh, okay. People bitch. Let's get new talent, whatever. And they do.
Yeah.
Then we're like, oh, not the one I
joke.
wanted. My thing about it is it was something. It's like, it was something new.
I wish they would have brought them in not as a friggin' joke. And then at the end, they bury him anyway by having DX throw him in a box that marks like to Louisville or whatever on it. And I'm like, my God. But
it said to OVW.
No, I thought it said to Louisville on it.
No, it clearly said OVW. That's why I laughed. So I'm like, wow, they acknowledged it on Raw.
Wow. Anyway, yeah. And then we got Nikki back as Chavo Guerrero's. Oh no, he was after the caddy that.
Man, you want to talk about crap?
Yeah, dude couldn't cut a break. And then I was like, and then they bring him back as some dude named Dolph Ziggler. Like, for God's sake. he had an upward mountain to climb, man, like a very steep mountain to climb. But the next
He's
match,
a 2-time world champ, though.
yeah. The next match was going to be Benoit and versus Chavo Guerrero. It is built on Chavo and Vicky Guerrero taking out Rey Mysterio for, quote, trying to steal the Guerrero legacy. And after Eddie's death, Benoit accuses him of doing it because of something to do with Eddie's estate. Which, I don't fully get that one, because I'm like, well, why wouldn't Vicky have full rights to his estate at the end? Was she trying to get something to Chavo? And if so, like, shouldn't she just be like, "Oh, this estate's mine, and you can have whatever you want"? So I don't know. I was confused by the storyline. I'm just like, what's the holdup here, or what's the issue? They just kept talking about something about talking to lawyers about his estate. I'm like, all right, but
I lost interest in this quickly.
Yeah. Well, we know how much, you've told us how much of a huge Chavo Guerrero fan you aren't.
Oh,
So-
God, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
I just never seen the appeal of him, man. He's like the other Guerrero. He's there because of Eddie.
He's
sorry.
Chavo Heat, man. Yeah, he was the other Guerrero.
His most, in my opinion, the most time he was like, the only time I ever liked him is when he was a Los Guerreros. What does that tell you?
I thought he was interesting in WCW, except when he brought out the stupid hobby horse.
He was interesting because of Eddie cutting his hair. He was interesting because they paired him with Stevie Ray when they decided Booker T could be something. Other than that, he was never interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm honestly really surprised they never put him with the Filthy Animals. Like,
He wasn't one of their amigos, man. I mean, like, we found out years later that those three were actually tight in real life. So,
but Billy Kidman is.
Yeah. So this match was Chris Benoit defending the WWE United States title against Chavo Guerrero with Vicky Guerrero in his corner. Yes, we will bleep out the name Chris Benoit. I'm kidding. But this is, I said this is
bleep. That's what Smart Mark calls him.
This is an extremely physical match to start with. I said these two actually, I mean, they're beating the tar out of each other. JBL was just fit to be tied on commentary. He made quite a few misogynistic comments that wouldn't fly in 2020, but that was the theme of the show. I honestly wasn't super into this match. The finish saw Chavo kick Benoit into Vicky, who was on the apron, roll Benoit up, but Benoit turned the schoolboy into a crippler crossface, and he made Chavo tap out. Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4 stars. I gave it 2.5 stars for average. What say you?
More proof that his ranking system is stupid. I said 2.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, hey, I'm not going to crap on anyone's opinion, okay? But, like, really? This was a 3 to you?
An over 3. It's just like, what? Scream.
And that AEW parking lot brawl was 5 to him. I'm baffled.
Yeah, I don't freaking get it. But JBL goes on a rant about Benoit after this match that would be more relevant in late 2007. Is that bad to say? I mean, it is bad to say, but some of the things he was saying, I was like, wow. It was almost like he had a crystal ball.
I don't know what to say with any of this.
Go back and listen to his rant after the match, and you'll get what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was. I was like, it's hard to listen to now in context. Todd Grisham, if anybody remembers him, he was backstage, and he interviews Lita with Edge about Lita saying that she's going to retire after her match tonight. Lita says that the most disrespect she's ever gotten in her wrestling career is from Philadelphia fans.
No.
That you're gonna blew me over with a feather with that one. Edge makes a really lame Donovan McNabb insult. I was like, stereotypical, your football team sucks and I'm a heel. Ha ha. But, whatever.
He's also Canadian, doesn't have a football team.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what the hell do you know about the NFL, Edge? Screw off. They make out a little bit and then Lita walks off. Behind Edge's back, Crime Time sneaks into Lita's dressing room. When Edge leaves, Crime Time sneaks out of Lita's dressing room with a box full of Lita's stuff and tells Todd Grisham, you ain't seen nothing. Shh.
I miss them.
Yeah. this was another thing that, like, and people to this day, they were like, yeah, they were beating up people on the street without provocation and stealing things. By God, they're baby faces. I'll never forget, I had a friend who worked construction, and he watched wrestling, and he was like, man, I got to give it up to JTG, man. He's the only person I know of that could wrestle like that in work boots.
Yeah, it's true.
He wore them crap kickers during every match, and kudos for him, or to him for that one. It's like Orange Cassidy wrestling in skinny jeans. Like, how the hell do you do that? All right, this next match was Lita defending the WWE Women's title against Mickie James. It went for 8 minutes, 18 seconds. During Lita's entrance, the camera focuses on a sign that says, "Ho!" That was it. Just ho.
Where was Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
Yeah, right. Hey, he could have been the fifth legend, man. He's always down for another payday.
I think he was in the Royal Rumble right after this, or at least within a year or two. So clearly he was still working. So yeah, why wasn't he?
I swear to God, when I went to Disney World one time, I saw a dude who I thought was Jim Duggan, but I couldn't tell for sure. And I didn't just want to walk up to a random guy with a ponytail and a beard and be like, "Are you Hacksaw Jim Duggan?"
Who?
Yeah, because if he wasn't, that would have been super awkward. And if he was, I don't know if he would have been like, "Dude, I'm trying to spend time with my family. F off." So it was a lose-lose situation. I don't want to be one of them marks, like the guy who, I don't know if you ever saw that picture of this guy who was trying to take a picture of Randy Orton in the bathroom while he was washing his hands.
I did.
And Orton's giving him a look over his shoulder like, "Are you effing kidding me?" Those are the bad kind of marks, not the main event marks.
See, when I saw Bushwhacker Butch in the bathroom, I didn't try to shake his hand or talk to him or anything. So,
well, no, because he pooped without washing his hands.
Yeah, I mean, now
and Corona wasn't even a thing yet.
Now we're nitpicking, so
yeah, nitpicking. Yeah. I said Lita was wearing one of her own Lucha Gora brand T-shirts. That's I think she still sells Lucha Gora brand clothes. Anybody wants to check her stuff out. But anyway,
she sells them in a little shop in Pier 39 in San Francisco, where she lives.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so check her out for Small Business Saturday, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it's her business. She sells that at someone else's business, but just to clarify. Yeah.
I said there were so many disgusting sexual jokes on commentary before, during, and after the match. The classy Philly fans are chanting, "She's a crack whore" at her. Which
was the ECW crowd came in.
Yeah, that was an old favorite, that old chestnut of the ECW brand.
I can't figure out why that brand or that company failed.
Well, it wasn't their misogyny, Greg, and their over-sexualization. Come on. As I've heard them referred to before, it's like starring all these male wrestlers and woman-shaped sexual objects. Mickie James ends up winning the match in the end with a DDT. Uncle Dave gave this...
Mickey T.
No, excuse the hell out of me. Uncle Dave gave this 1.5 stars. I gave it 2 stars. It was below average. What say you?
I gave it 2 as well.
Yeah, it was okay.
This was like the second of like a couple of pay-per-views where someone retired. I think Trish retired in September of '06 at Unforgiven.
And then they went off to do their Laverne and Shirley act together.
I would have watched Thelma and Louise before I would have watched that.
Oh, come on. But after the match, Lita makes Lillian Garcia announce Lita as the greatest women's champion of all time. Lita then berates the Philadelphia crowd, demanding respect, so you know what that means. We have to, unfortunately, cover this. Crime Time comes out with a box of Lita's stuff.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the unfortunate part is, but okay.
Yeah. They're selling her stuff to the crowd. They sell her bras, her panties.
I bought it all.
Women's cleaning products, and a dildo. Never thought I'd say that word on this show, but there you have it.
Again, things that will work in 2006 that will not fly in 2020.
Yeah, they literally, I'm like, and they didn't even blur it off the network. He literally pulls a dildo out of the box and is holding it up for everyone to see, and
Oh,
he's
man.
literally shaking it, saying it's vibrating. What the hell? Just what the hell?
Hell of a goodbye, though, huh?
There are kids in this crowd, by the way. Just
Yeah, but
throw
they're
that-
Philly fans, kids, so they probably just, whatever.
Yeah.
Let them
Hey,
learn
little
now,
Johnny.
because we're going to teach them anyways.
Hey, little Johnny, you remember seeing that when you accidentally opened your mother's side drawer, right?
What the hell?
JBL offers to buy a pair of Lita's panties and says he wants to sniff. He wants to sniff them, and he acts disgusted by the smell. This was just what the f.
This was money.
This I was so tempted to fast forward, but I have to take notes on all this. I was like, why? They said
Why not?
They said the last thing that they have to sell is big and it's wide. Everyone likes it, and you can stick your head in it. It's Lita's box. They sell the cardboard box, and this was disgusting and pathetic. I'm so glad this era of wrestling is over, where women are actually wrestlers
Carrying
now.
the show?
Yeah, and not with live sex celebrations and, ooh, my boob popped out. Like I said, women-shaped sexual objects. Unfortunately. We then see footage from earlier that day where Michael Cole, I put in quotations, interviewed Batista in a sit-down setting. I said interviewed because of what's coming up. Cole laid out to Batista that he had to surrender the world title due to injury. He has repeatedly failed to recapture the title, and now tonight, he has his last chance to win the title.
Which
Batista,
almost guarantees he's going to win, by the way.
they've swerved, bro. They've swerved people a few times with that. AEW's done that so far in a situation that I didn't think they were going to, but Batista refuses to answer any questions, and he just sits there seething. Basically, he was just there so he wouldn't get fined.
I like that.
Kudos to anybody who gets that reference, by the way.
One of our faithful listeners is going to love that reference.
Oh, I bet. Finally, Cole asks if Batista has anything to say at all. Batista says that he's leaving as the world's heavyweight champion. That's quite a prediction, Dave. That's some deep insight into
Okay.
the mind of the animal.
I got to stop you right there. We only say the name Dave for one guy on here, okay? You don't one name Batista. That's reserved for Meltzer. How dare you?
I was shocked that Michael Cole referred to him as Dave. He was like, "You have anything to say at all, Dave?" I'm like, hey, you don't call him Dave? God dang it. He's Batista.
Yeah,
Joseph.
I just said, there's only one named Dave in this world. Bastard.
Wow. All right, this next
God, I
one.
hope people know I'm joking.
This next one is the one we've been talking about, and it's exactly what I remembered. It was Team DX. It was Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the Hardy Boys of Matt and Jeff, CM Punk. They are taking on the team of Team Rated RKO, which is Edge and Randy Orton, Gregory Helms, Mike Knox with Kelly Kelly, and Johnny Nitro with Melina. It's a 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, went 11 and a half minutes.
Loved this match, gotta say.
I said the crowd is beyond hot for the baby faces. Triple H and CM Punk start off by asking if we're ready. During his intro, Triple H rightfully puts over the amount of talent on their team. You could tell, by the way, I said that Shawn Michaels was just on autopilot during this era and having fun at this point. Right before his one last, all right, I'm going to put pedal to the metal for one last singles run, right before he retired. Because during this era, I mean, he was still pumping out good matches because autopilot Shawn Michaels is better than full speed most people. So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, also to your point, he was back with DX too, so clearly,
yeah. Him and Triple H were just having fun and fiddle-dicking at this point. But, like I said, they still pumped out some good stuff. Obviously, we all remember the Vince Loves, I'm not going to repeat it. Yeah, they even made a shirt that said Vince Loves and then a chicken or a rooster or whatever the hell. But there was a handful.
It was a rooster.
Yeah. There was a handful of comedy spots with Shawn Michaels start the match.
That first part, can we talk about that with Mike Knox?
Yes.
Still one of the greatest moments in the history of wrestling. I get it. He completely buried Knox, but man, that was hilarious.
I don't get the Mike Knox. Like, apparently he was one of the people that Paul Heyman was really pulling for and really wanted to lead the ECW brand. I didn't see a ton in him. He didn't suck. I never looked at him as the guy, you know?
Well, he would go on to be in the Aces and Eights, so at least he did something.
As Nux. Yeah, and he led the Menagerie.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so...
He brought Reba into the world of wrestling. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and the Freak, Rob Terry, got a second life under a mask. Oh. And Crazy Steve. He introduced us to Crazy Steve, who is still an Impact, by the way.
So there's lots to be grateful for Mike Knox.
Yeah, well, anyway. Triple H tried...
Man, when he kicked him, though, he goes, who was that? He's like, was he part of the team?
Yeah, because what happens is Triple H tries to get Kelly Kelly to take her top off because Kelly Kelly was just, again, woman-shaped sexual object. She was always...
her whole thing was she was an exhibitionist. Not excusing it, but I'm saying this does fit within that realm.
Yeah, her whole thing was she was just itching to get naked, just every second of every day. My God, these clothes, can I just get naked already? Like, I mean...
Show of hands, who's complaining about that?
I mean, like, sure, I guess, but whatever.
We just lost the women viewers or listeners.
Well, Triple H tries to get Kelly Kelly to take her top off. Mike Knox shoves him, gets mad, and Shawn Michaels super kicks the crap out of Knox and pins him.
First, before he pins him, though, he asked the referee, did you ring the bell? Did you catch that part? He goes, did the bell ring?
I didn't catch that part, but yeah. And then he did the whole, he was like, who is that? Or who was that? Yeah.
He goes, it's Mike Knox from ECW. He goes, so yeah, but was he part of the team? So, okay. He's like, so we're good. We're ahead. Okay, cool.
And then he's like wrestling around, and then he slides out of the ring. Melina has her back to the ring. He slides out of the ring and like stands there, puts his arm around her, and just like stands there, and she looks over and is like, whoa, what the heck? And he's like, ah! And then he runs away.
Fun fact, he did that in the King of the Ring 1995 tournaments when he was facing King Kong Bundy. He did that to Ted DiBiase.
Wow. Nice. I don't remember that one. That's awesome.
An old episode of Raw. Go back and watch. It's he's facing King Kong Bundy.
Wow. I bet that was a barn burner.
I don't remember the match, but yeah, I would bet on classic. Right.
Matt Hardy, he starts bleeding from the mouth for some reason. I didn't catch why. He just started bleeding. Matt hotshots Johnny Nitro over the top rope. CM Punk locks him in the Anaconda Vice for the submission elimination for Nitro. Punk then takes almost everyone's finisher until he finally dodges Edge's spear, tags out to Triple H, who destroys everyone until Edge cheap shots him. The Hardys nail the extreme combination on Gregory Helms, who I forgot was in this match until his music hit.
Friendship destroyed, by the way.
The what?
I said a friendship destroyed.
Oh, yeah. They hit the extreme combination on him to eliminate him. It's now 5-on-2, so Rated RKO decide to abandon Chip, and they head for the hills, but the Hardys cut them off and throw him back in the ring to take a beating. Edge gets Sweet Chin Music in his pin. Orton takes off through the crowd, but the babyfaces chase him down, throw him back in the ring. Orton gets Sweet Chin Music into a pedigree for the final elimination. Uncle Dave gave this 3 3/4 stars. I gave it 2 stars, or I'm sorry, he gave it 2 3/4 stars. I gave it 2 stars because... I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't... I mean, it was just pure domination. So, what say you?
I gave it 3. I love this match. And I thought this was one of the greatest Survivor Series teams in the history of Survivor Series. The face side, anyways.
Yeah, the heel side was a little lacking with Mike Knox. And as much as I love Gregory Helms, come on now.
I do like that they pushed that he was the only champion in the match.
Like the longest reigning champion at
liberal with the term champion, but it is a title, so.
Hey, he kind of made that cruiserweight title matter for a little while.
No, he did. It's just like you're still the way he built it up as if he was the champion. Oh man, I'm the only champion in this match. Yeah, but you're cruiserweight champion.
Well, and I actually converted my fandom there, because like we've talked about, I was a big Hurricane fan, and after he came out as Gregory Helms, I was all on board for that too. I was like, he's damn good, and he's finally like being pushed as like he was pushed as like a top guy of the cruiserweight division, and he was having like good matches, and he wasn't flip flopping and flying all over the ring. So he didn't have to hit a 360 whatever 630 whatever to matter. But
also, a couple months ago, or maybe a year ago, they came out with that Jeff Hardy Mattel figure, which I was so stoked about. So I have it from this match.
Yeah.
Nice.
We get a build-up package for the next match showing Mr. Kennedy vowing to end The Undertaker's career and the legacy of The Undertaker at the very event he debuted at, Survivor Series. Kennedy made Taker bleed on SmackDown by beating him mercilessly with a microphone. So on a later episode of SmackDown, Undertaker made it rain blood on Kennedy. I remember this whole build-up, by the way, because I was all in for this feud. I
love Kennedy, man.
I hated him for like the first couple months, and then he grew on me, and I was like, damn, I love this guy. He's awesome.
I don't want to sound like one of those guys. I liked him for everyone else, but I'm a huge WWE fan, so I would watch Velocity when this guy, he came out as Ken Anderson at first. He debuted as Ken Anderson on Velocity. And I saw that entrance with the microphone, and I was like, I like this. This is funny. And then all of a sudden he comes out on SmackDown as his debut, and I'm like, oh, I know this dude. I just saw him a couple weeks ago on Velocity. And it's like, so I was kind of like all in on like from his debut. Because of Velocity, though, so. I
hated him at first because I didn't get I know it was comedy and whatever, and it built his character eventually, but, like, at first I didn't get it. I was just like, so he's feuding with Tony Chimmel about who can announce him better? Like, I was like, whatever, I don't care. And then after a while it grew on me, and I was like, he's hilarious, he's good in the ring, I like everything about this guy. And when he debuted in TNA in 2010, Genesis 2010, I flipped my crap. I mean, he had a so-so match against Abyss, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I was happy he was there. But backstage, Crystal Marshall asked Mr. Kennedy his thoughts on the match.
That was a name I forgot about, by the way. Sorry.
Crystal? Yeah. I know, right? Last I heard of her was when she was Bobby Lashley's manager / baby mama in TNA. And then she went the way of the dodo, and I don't know what the hell she's doing now.
Still married to him?
No, I don't think they ever officially got married. They might have. I don't know, but yeah, they're not anymore. But anyway, he's married. He was married to Lana. Don't you remember? Gosh,
that's right. Yeah.
Sorry. Here's another blast from the past, but he's still around doing stuff today. MVP comes up and says that he recently beat Kane in a cage match, and he'll eliminate him from their match later tonight. And he's got confidence in Mr. Kennedy. MVP assures Kennedy that he's got his back. Even though previous weeks, I guess it was, I didn't see this part in the build-up, and I don't remember, but I guess it was Kennedy and MVP versus the Brothers of Destruction, and Kennedy left MVP high and dry to get beaten up.
Yep.
So now MVP is like, don't worry about that. I got your back tonight against The Undertaker. The other thing I thought was funny was Kennedy, because at first I was like, God dang, he's shiny. And then he's like, what do you have on your face? He's like, it's Vaseline. It's what boxers use.
Yeah.
Well, at first I was like, what did he do to himself? I thought they were just going to ignore it. And then it was like, it's part of the story. Cool. But yeah, we get this. This was actually my favorite match of the entire night. Not saying it was the best match. It was just my favorite match. It was Mr. Kennedy versus The Undertaker. First blood. It went for 9 minutes, 15 seconds. Before The Undertaker even enters, Kennedy takes the top turnbuckle pads off of two corners. For his introduction, he says that we're looking at the future of sports entertainment. Too bad that didn't come to fruition. That one still hurts. I don't know. I mean, not saying he never did anything. It just, I feel like he never, fulfilled his potential. Do you feel that way too?
I do, but apparently, according to some people, he was just a dick. So
yeah, well, it was
actually
self-inflicted because.
Let me redo that. He was an asshole by his own words.
Yes,
so, there you go.
Mr. A-hole. Yeah, it wasn't even just his attitude, but it was also he kept getting popped for steroids and this
he kept
and that.
Getting hurt too.
Yeah. So, but isn't it amazing that once he went to TNA, I think he might have got injured, what, once?
Yeah, right.
Like, it was just WWE. So it's like, what the hell was going on? And he wasn't even doing roids anymore. Or was it because of the roids that he was getting injured? I don't know.
I don't know. I've often wondered if that contributes to getting hurt.
Yeah. So, I mean, because they talked about, not to get too deep in the weeds here, but I've heard on podcasts they were talking about you can do all the steroids and your muscles can grow and whatever, but your tendons are the same size and they can only take so much. So your muscles can be as big as you want them to be, but everything else is, like everybody else. So, you're still going to get injured. But anyway, getting into this, and you could tell with this, they were building him up for a big thing. Even though I thought the storyline was stupid, they've admitted they were building him up to be Vince McMahon's illegitimate son, and that was supposed to be a big launching point for him as well. And just, he blew opportunity after opportunity by getting hurt. Well, I mean, that's not blowing an opportunity, but he would get hurt, or he would do drugs, or whatever. So, whatever. Either way, Kennedy gets thrown outside, and he starts spitting up blood, but the referee doesn't see it. So MVP runs down with a towel to wipe up the blood before it can be spotted. MVP then acts like he's going to help Kennedy to the back. And then he ends up throwing him back in the ring. Who could have saw that coming? When Kennedy... I have a Jax figure of Kennedy, by the way.
There is no Mattel figure, which sucks.
I know. He was gone before that. There is a... And it's an actual Ken Kennedy figure. It's not the... Because he does have TNA figures. I do not have that. I have the WWE. But when Kennedy gets the advantage, MVP goes to hit Kennedy in the back with a chair, but the ref pulls the chair back. MVP shoves the ref off, and he swings the chair wildly, accidentally smacking The Undertaker in the head with it, busting him wide open. The referee sees this, and he declares that Mr. Kennedy is the winner, as Kennedy rains down punches on The Undertaker. Uncle Dave gave this 3 stars. I gave it probably 2.5, because it's not the greatest First Blood I've ever seen. But I thought it was really good. I might even go 3. I don't know. What say you?
I loved it. I gave it 3.
Yeah.
I had a fun time watching it. Forgot how fun it was, so.
Can I throw the yellow flag here? Upon further review, 3 stars.
Yeah. Bump it up.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good build, had a good match. I thought it could have went a little longer.
Yeah.
I felt like it was over too quick, especially considering the build-up it had. And I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure they never wrestled again. At least on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well,
Unless they did at Armageddon? I don't think so.
And this was Undertaker's thing back in the day. He was like, look, I'll put you over in the match, but I'm going to get my heat back by just pummeling the piss out of you after the bell. He did that to JBL.
I'm sorry, but to me, that kind of takes away from it. But
yeah, I mean, well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but yeah. So it's like, I mean, they have something to brag about. Like, oh, I beat The Undertaker. It's like, yeah, but he beat the piss out of you.
The only person he never did that to is Mankind, if you think about it. Mankind just beat him.
Yeah, right, and then took off running. But after the match, Mr. Kennedy calls for his microphone so he can announce himself the winner while he's crouching over top of The Undertaker, which you know what that means. The Undertaker reaches up and goozles him. Taker then rains punches down upon Kennedy in the corner, grabs a chair, and he basically wraps it around Kennedy's effing head. This was not the worst injury he would get from a chair, by the way. That would come from one Jeffrey Nero Hardy. But Kennedy is busted open now, and The Undertaker beats him up on the announce table, and then back into the ring, where he tombstones him straight to hell. Straight to hell. After the match...
I got that.
After the match, Undertaker takes his right glove off and repeatedly punches Kennedy in the forehead. Both men are a bloody mess. So much blood. That's another thing wouldn't fly in WWE in 2020. AEW, yes. WWE, nah.
AEW's even marketing damn figures with blood.
And at the bottom of the package, it says blood and guts. Oh. So there you go.
The match that never happened, by the way, because screw you, COVID.
Yeah, I know. They said they're going to do it in front of a crowd, but and they've got the crowd back. So I'm like,
well, yeah, but now it's lost its luster because, well, I mean, you haven't been watching, but that's a sidetrack. But the Elite's kind of broken up, and it looks like Guevara's out of the Inner Circle is about to happen. So I just
They could still, I don't know, they could make it work somehow. I don't know. I gotta throw, well, you can have a three-way, like 3 teams, and throw Kingston's group in there, maybe.
That actually might be better at this point.
Yeah. So maybe do like smaller teams, like, I don't know, like 4-man teams, throwing Kingston's group, the Elite, Inner Circle. Hell, I mean, maybe, or have multiple, get the Dark Order involved, the Dork Order.
Oh, for God's sakes, no.
Come on, you got Swoley McSwollerson over there, John Silver.
I'm on board with Kingston's group because I like the idea of the Lucha Bros doing stuff in the cage.
Yeah.
But I don't care to see 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever the hell their names are in a no, thank you.
What about Taz's group?
Oh, he's only got 2 at the moment, though.
Is it only 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have to.
I mean, although Brian Cage himself could rip everyone's ass apart, to be fair. So.
No, Greg, he lost fair and square to Tessa Blanchard on pay-per-view. What good are you to me now?
That's actually legit.
Yeah, that one is. But backstage in their locker room, Queen Charmel and King Booker do their best version of the King and I with cartoonish British accents.
Yeah, a little fun fact here. I'm pretty sure he said he was, his whole thing was based on the guy with the lazy eye. He's a really good actor.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah,
the movie The Last King of Scotland?
Yes, he was all based on that.
Okay.
He said his whole thing, so.
I buy that, but my God. But this whole thing makes me wonder if they just stayed in character 24/7. Like in kayfabe land, because supposedly...
It's called method acting, so,
well, they weren't
good for him.
Well, they weren't being interviewed here. Like, the camera, like, the camera just walked in on them, standing shoulder to shoulder, looking at each other, by the way, because that's how normal people stand. And they were talking in these over-the-top, terrible, half Houston, half British accents.
Kind of like you are right now.
Say what?
Kind of like you are right now.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was just like, all right. I hated the King Booker gimmick.
Also, let's real quick. He brought that back in TNA. Do you remember?
Yes, I was like, God dang it! Why is he doing it again? Stop it!
Oh man!
Like, well, I'm in the main event Mafia, and I'm Booker T. But at the same time, I'm like his gimmick, which was fine. His whole gimmick was I'm rich and famous, and I'm more popular than everybody here. And he's like wearing like, fancy clothes and rings and whatever. Doesn't mean you have to speak in a British accent, bro. Like, just talk normal. Come on.
You remember when John Cena kind of ripped him for it, and he's like, "Damn, Booker, you should lose your black man card for this." Good Lord, the entire arena exploded for that.
Tell me you didn't just say that. Like, oh, you're black again. Okay. But this next one is the second to last match of the night. It is the last Survivor Series match of the entire night. It is Team Big Show versus Team Cena. The Team Big Show is Big Show, MVP, Test, Finley, and Umaga with Armando Alejandro Estrada in his corner. No, I didn't roll my R's, sorry. Team Cena is John Cena, RVD, Sabu, Bobby Lashley, and Kane. This was Lashley's first run, right before he got that theme that was my favorite he ever had.
He used it for 2 weeks. He debuted it at the Grand American Bash. That was that. Fun fact.
Yeah, was it Hell Will Be Calling Your Name? Like, that was so badass. And I'm like, did you lose the rights to it? Like, why? What the hell? Because I kept waiting for them to bring it back, and I was like, never mind.
Who was I at WrestleMania with? Was it you or Ramon where he returned?
It was me.
Okay. So remember how we had seen his name on the little monitor? We're like, oh, it showed Lashley.
You did, yeah, because you were like, oh, not spoiling anything, but they just played Lashley's Tron on them. I was like, son of a...
And when he's coming out, like, oh, they're going to play that awesome theme. And no.
I know, I was waiting for it. And then, I mean, I like his song, but it's not the same. Yeah, but this was a 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. It went for 12.5 minutes. John Cena was majorly.
Real quick, did you catch when MVP came out? He was like looking around for Undertaker.
Yeah, he's looking over his shoulder. He's like, I don't want the Undertaker jumping my ass.
He was not even like trying to hide it either. He's like, what? Okay, cool, we're good. Because he came out of that blow up thing, and like I guess he theoretically could have been in there, which would have been funny, but
Right. Well, it's the Undertaker. He can pop up anywhere. So it's like, yeah, you can look over your shoulder all you want, but the lights are going to drop. He's going to pop up, all that good stuff. But John Cena was majorly hated by the Philadelphia crowd. I know. Shocker. He should.
But they like Sabu. But
well, yeah. He should have wore a Phillies jersey to really endear himself to the crowd.
Nah, you should have wore like a Mets jersey. That would have really got him.
Man, I would have laughed if he came out in an Allen Iverson Sixers jersey.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah, I was like, that's the one. Like, that's the only Sixers jersey anybody ever owns. John Cena starts a match by clotheslining Umaga out of the ring. Umaga grabs a monitor off the announce table back before they were tablets, and he blasts Cena on the head with it, and he gets disqualified right away. Umaga did jack and squat.
Well, he was running the whole undefeated thing at this time, so it does not surprise me.
Yeah, it makes sense. Which John Cena would take from him. So he just liked taking undefeated streaks from foreigners, didn't he?
Yep.
Behind the referee's back.
Kind of like Charlotte does.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. Kane comes in and chokeslams MVP behind the referee's back. This allows RVD to hit the 5-star frog splash for the pinfall elimination. Test hits a running big boot on RVD right after this to eliminate him. After a spear from Lashley to Test on the outside, Sabu rolls him into the ring. It's a springboard tornado DDT on Test for the pin and the elimination. Sabu gets caught with a gets caught while trying to crossbody the Big Show, who then chokeslams Sabu out of that for the pin. That was kind of cool. Kane and Big Show try to choke each other out. All of a sudden, he wasn't called Hornswoggle at this time, people. I'm calling him what he was. The little bastard runs out from under the ring. He goes right in between them. They look at him like, the F? And he runs away. Behind the referee's back, Finlay gets in and smacks Kane in the back of the head with a shillelagh. Big Show chokeslams him and he pins him. It's now 2-on-2. Finlay picks up the little bastard and he throws him into Cena's arms. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh calling him the little bastard. That was...
Hey, he's okay with it, man. He says he made like millions off of that. He's perfectly fine with it, so...
Sidebar...
Not that I'm trying to sit there and make it okay to say this about people, but he flat out said it. Hey, this paid my bills and clothed my kid and stuff, so I don't give a damn. That's what he says.
My friend was legit pissed off when they actually started calling him Hornswoggle. He was like, I don't give a damn what they call him. I'm still calling him the little bastard. And I'm like, whatever. Do you, man. But anyway, Finlay throws him into Cena's arms. Lashley spears the piss out of him and pins him. Cena and Lashley repeatedly double-teamed the Big Show. Cena finally was able to power the Big Show up for the FU. Yes, it was still the FU at this time. For the pinfall and the win. Uncle Dave 2 1/4 star. I gave it 2.5 stars.
I gave it 2. It was fun.
I honestly thought this was better than the one with... I'm not saying the talent was better. It clearly wasn't. But I thought, like, the actual match, I thought was better than the one with DX.
It was more played out, and there was more stuff going on between multiple guys in this match. So,
yeah. Right.
That's what that match suffered from. Like, this match had Lashley and Big Show. They were going to be fighting the week after this. Yes, there was a pay-per-view the week after this. And Cena and Umaga were feuding. And yeah, so a lot of stuff going on.
Yep. That was, that pay-per-view. My God. It was something. All right, moving into the main event. Let's take our last quick break here to pay some bills. We come back, we'll talk about the build-up to the main event and the main event itself right after this.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @main_event_marks and Facebook at facebook.com/main_event_markspod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, getting into all of this for the main event. Before the match, SmackDown General Manager Theodore Long comes to the ring. JBL calling him a peanut-headed George Jefferson lookalike probably wouldn't have passed in 2020.
He doesn't walk like George, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was in a racist manner, but you know how people are. Like
I'm
everybody.
just strictly talking about the walk, by the way. Anyone who watches
Oh.
him walk, that's clearly George Jefferson. So.
Yeah, where he just like waves his arms back and forth, kind of
Yep.
wobbles. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like you and I, who are logical thinking people, know what he was talking about, but you know how 2020 is. How
Yep.
dare you say anything that can be misconstrued? God dang it, pal. I don't know why I went to Vince, but that's like social justice Vince.
Wow.
I would pay to see that character. That would be amazing.
You'd be waiting your entire life and then some to see it.
That would be like PC Principal on South Park.
Yeah.
If anybody knows PC Principal, I got to make that reference. Sorry. All right. But anyway, Teddy Long announces that this may be Batista's last chance at the world title, but if Booker is counted out or disqualified, he loses the world title. So, stacking the deck here. I guess both people have the deck stacked, but so there you go. The main event was King Booker with Queen Sharmell and his. That's how he said it too. With Queen Sharmell in his corner, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista. This went just shy of 14 minutes. Batista jumps Booker in the entryway before the match even starts, beats him up, and then rolls him into the ring. When Batista hits the Batista bomb, Booker grabs the ropes to break the pin. Behind the referee's back, Sharmell hands Booker the world title. Batista teases giving Sharmell the Batista bomb, but shoves her aside and thinks better of it. The ref isn't looking as Booker swings the world title, and Batista ducks it, and then he drops the world title. Batista picks it up. He blasts Booker in the head with it and pins him for the win. Me and Uncle Dave had vastly different opinions on this, so I'm wanting to see where you fall. Uncle Dave gave this 1 1/4 stars. For the two guys that were in it, I kind of liked it. I gave it 3 stars. What say you?
I'm literally right in the middle. I gave it 2. I liked it, though. Yeah, I mean, I remember marking big time when Batista won the title back.
Yeah.
I was really pissed when he didn't win it at SummerSlam, but
Yeah. Well, I went back and forth on this one because I'm like, is it 2? Is it 3? And I don't know. I dug it. I dig Batista. I dig Booker T. And I thought they clicked. I don't think Booker clicked with everyone. Same thing with Batista. I mean, I think Batista had more people that he could have. And the thing is, Booker's better than Batista. But he had weird...
Booker's better than a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like he had weird chemistry. Like, his matches with The Undertaker are very forgettable. And there were a couple other people that he had matches with that I was just like, eh. I mean, it was fine. But this one, I thought, like, these two, they clicked really well. And I enjoyed the feud. I enjoyed like I said before, I hated the King Booker gimmick, but I appreciate it more in retrospect. It was fine. And the match was good. But I feel like this was a good way to wrap up the pay-per-view. And I feel like it was good to have, like, the world title closed. The WWE title did not. John Cena was in the second to last match, and he was the WWE champion, and Big Show was the ECW champion, second to last match on the show.
They made a huge fuss about this on SmackDown, too. JBL kept saying, oh, it's sorry, Sirius SmackDown's still in the show with the main event. So they made sure to let everyone know going into this that was, in fact, the last match.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, it really was, it was a good way to close the show. I feel like it should have closed the show. It had the most, besides I feel like SmackDown was the show that had all the storyline, like the big time storylines driving it.
It was, and when you think about Raw, had ECW helping it.
Yeah.
They were doing the whole ECW Raw talent exchange crap. You know, so that was all one, basically.
Now, remind me, Undertaker won this coming Royal Rumble, correct?
Yes.
07? Yeah, because I remember specifically when he won the Royal Rumble, they were like, he can choose any champion to face at WrestleMania. Who's it going to be? And they had the WWE champion, the world champion, and effing Bobby Lashley with the ECW title all in the ring. And I'm like, yeah, Taker's going to say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take you on for that thing. Ugh.
I still think it should have been Cena, but I guess Batista made the most sense.
Yeah. Hey, he ended up facing Cena at WrestleMania, sort of.
Yeah, in a route.
Yeah. Well, you and I saw it live. Him and Cena at WrestleMania 34. Yeah, 34 in New Orleans. That was. I mean, I was happy to see The Undertaker, but I was just like, wow, he just came out and whooped Cena's ass and left. Cool. But all right, well, I think that about does it for the show. Take our final break. When we come back, it's the final ratings, people.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @MainEvent_Marks and Facebook at Facebook.com/MainEventMarksPod.
Now, back to our program.
All right, final ratings for the show. IMDb gave this 6.4 out of 10. CageMatch.net was really rough. They gave it 4.81 out of 10. I give it 6.5 out of 10. What say you?
I really like this show. I gave it like a B-.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I love this show.
I liked the main event. I liked the first blood match, and the other matches were, I felt, okay. Like, I wasn't like I didn't hate watching this show. I thought it was above average, well above average, but I don't know. I gave it like a D+, C-, somewhere in there. It was fine for a Survivor Series, and it was a good follow-up 10 years later. Like, how far have we come? Shawn Michaels is still, doing his thing. If you think about it, he was in the main event of 96, and he's like halfway down the card in 2006.
But performing better in 2006 than he was in 96.
I know, it's weird. Cool, but weird. Yeah. So, and a big muscle-bound dude wins the world title in the main event. So there's that. And one was in Madison Square Garden with a hostile crowd, and this one was in Philadelphia with a hostile crowd. So
I might even argue a more hostile crowd.
Oh, well, absolutely. Philadelphia is like on another level. But yeah,
they hate Santa, dude. I mean, you just don't get any more hateful than that.
Yeah. Philadelphia's something, man. They're but anyway, yeah. Coming up, that wraps up the month of November for us. I hope you all enjoyed. Last week we dropped TNA Victory Road 2004, and for our bonus show, we dropped WWF Survivor Series 1987, which was the first Survivor Series ever. I had Jacob Grandi from Curtain Jerkin back on the show. He was on for a bonus show back in August. We reviewed the very first ever SummerSlam. Now we're doing the first ever Survivor Series. Spoiler, he will be back in January. You can kind of see by the pattern what we're going to be reviewing in January. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. Very old school wrestling, I'll say that. But yeah, that wraps up November. Like I said, big stuff coming up. I hope if you are not caught up on the podcast, I hope you do catch up this weekend. We got our pay-per-view for the Main Event Figure Federation that's coming this Sunday. So that's a big deal.
Excited about that?
Yeah, it's our very first ever. I'm putting the finishing touches on my show. And then we will have our Monday shows the day after. So lots of content coming up this weekend and next week as well. Next week we are diving into December. It is our first show of Christmas, Hanukkah month, whatever you want to call it, the holiday month. And December 2nd we are going to cover Starrcade 1990 Collision Course. I don't remember why we decided on 1990. Do you?
I do not. And I don't remember this event off the top of my head, so it's going to be fun to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's I always like going back and watching this stuff. Basically, the event was here's why we decided to review it. The main event was a steel cage match between Sting and the Black Scorpion.
Okay, that sounded more like the Shockmaster.
It's the same guy. So yes. Yeah, so that's why it also included a street fight between Doom and the team of Arn Anderson, Barry Windham for the NWA tag titles, a Texas Lariat match between Stan Hansen and Lex Luger, because when I think of Texas Lariat match, I think of Lex Luger, and for the United States title, and the entire Pat O'Connor Memorial International Cup Tag Team Tournament. I got winded just saying that. So that it should be a good classic card going back in time. It's Starrcade month, man. You got to get into it. You got to get all the feels going. I'm excited for Starrcade month.
I'm hoping we get an NXT Starrcade.
That would be cool. Because the last couple Starrcades WWE have done have just been house shows. Yeah. I went to the one in Cincinnati, by the way. I did not get the John Moxley shirt, but he was in the main event. It was a steel cage match, him versus Seth Rollins. Steel cage for the WWE title. Anyway, it's going to be a big month for December. Looking forward to it. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you all next week. Starrcade 1990 Collision Course is coming down the pike.